start your show now, press 1. To hear important instructions, press 2.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nobody take no cornbread from me.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Da, da, da. Looks great. All right, guys. Are you ready? Freedom Friday. I'm ready. Let's do it. All right, let's go. Let's go. We good? We good. Hey, people, how you doing? My name is Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black at Night Show. It is Friday, therefore it is Freedom Friday. This is a good thing. Let me explain. Freedom Friday is when you get to call up and you get to speak to the world. Just use my platform. Go ahead. Just use it. Take over the show. You get 5 minutes, up to 5 minutes, of airtime to talk about whatever topics you would like to talk about, whether it be something that I brought up or something that another caller brought up or something totally different. We've been doing this for years on this channel, and it's our way of getting the community involved. And it's great because it goes out not only on YouTube and Facebook and Periscope, it also goes out on Blog Talk Radio, Stitcher Radio, and iTunes. So you'll be a lot of places, a lot of people will hear your comment, which is a fantastic thing. It's the new era of communication and media, where it's not just one-way conversations, actual mutual conversation when people get to talk back. And I'm surprised that they haven't shut us down yet, but let's keep going, right? So, okay. Let me put the phone number up there. It's 319-527-6212. Because I put these in the video. Hope you guys can see that. It's just that when I use this clip in the video, it has this big phone number in it, in the clip. And I don't like that phone number in the way. All right, so look, guys, it's Friday, as I stated, and I got a couple stories. A couple of news articles, a couple of bits of news I like to give you to get the show started. I call it a monologue, the Tim Black monologue. Let's see. God, I got so much stuff I want to say. Where do I start first? It would be amazing if they actually talked about policies, in the election. As we gear up for these Democratic primaries, it would be really nice if they talked about policies. Yeah, that would be cool, man. That would be so cool if people actually talked about policies. There we go. I don't hear a lot of policy talk. I hear a lot of platitudes. Root word plat, like plaiting hair. Or a platter of food, laying out. Tudes, like, I don't know, attitudes. That's totally wrong. There's no meaning to anything I just said right there. But it's a lot of platitudes, man. A lot of air, hot air. When you hear terms like, I want us to all unify. Want to do a lot of unity. I want to, what Joe Biden say? We have to fight for the spirit and the soul of the nation. What you talking about, man? Soul of the nation. You know what I mean? How about some jobs, bro? Jobs, lower the price of price of gas, legalize cannabis. How about some health care? Make it so my kids can go to school without going 30 years, $30,000 in debt per semester. How about we do that? How about we focus on that type of stuff? You know? Platitude. Oh, we want to get everybody together. We have a unifying love, and everybody love one another, and just get back to what makes us Americans, and where we stand together, not divided. America's never been more divided. Under Donald Trump, America has never been more divided. They keep telling you that. And if you keep hearing it long enough, some people start buying it. I can remember a couple of times America was a little bit more divided than it is now. There was this period between 16, 14. When did y'all bring slaves here? 16, 15, in 1965. Like, segregation. You might have heard of it. It's a little bit more divided than it is now. I know it doesn't get much play. Anyway, so I just wish they would talk more about things that really matter. Like, hey, we're going to end the wars, and we're going to take the money that we would spend buying fighter jets and drones. We're going to spend that money in the community. We're going to rebuild the roads, put people to work. We're gonna rebuild our infrastructure. We're gonna work on creating some green energy. We're gonna put some wind turbines, and we're gonna plant some crops. We got a lot of places in the hood, in the hood, like Joe Biden would say, in the hood. We literally went to the hood where they have food deserts because they don't have any access to good food. But see, if they make promises or if they make commitments verbally like that, specific stuff, then they would have to be held to them. You might actually hold them to their commitments, so they can't do that. That's why if you go on Peter Buttigieg's site, Buttigieg, you go on Buttigieg's site, you won't see real specific things. You go on Better O'Rourke, you won't see specific stuff. You go on Joe Biden, you won't see anything specific, because that's how you hold them accountable. They don't want to be accountable. Nah. So I'd like to start. I'd like to start tonight's show with a couple of clips here. I don't have a clip for this, but this is great stuff. Chelsea Manning is free. Give it up for Chelsea Manning, y'all. Chelsea Manning was just released from jail. That's the news. It's great news. Chelsea Manning was released from federal custody Thursday after being held in Virginia jail for 62 days. They wanted Chelsea to testify against Julian Assange in WikiLeaks. Manning was released after the grand jury term expired. However, her attorney said she has already been served with another subpoena. The new subpoena demands that Manning appear before a different grand jury on May 16th, when she could be returned to the custody of the Alexandria Detention Center. That poor girl, man. They just put her through the ringer, don't they? Chelsea will continue to refuse to answer questions and will use every available legal defense to prove to District Judge Tringa that she has just cause for her refusal to give testimony, her attorney said. Manning was jailed for contempt of court on March 8th after she refused to testify before the grand jury that is currently investigating WikiLeaks. She said at the time that secret proceedings of this nature tend to favor that of the government, adding, "I'm always willing to explain things publicly." Manning's refusal to testify is a protest of grand juries, which she says has been used by the statute or the state to entrap and persecute activists for protected political speech. Protected political speech. Chelsea Manning is a hero. Let's just, make sure that people know that. When I read that Peter Buttigieg said that she was not a hero and that he was upset that Obama had commuted her sentence, I had already made my mind up at that point that Peter Buttigieg, Mayor Pete, was a scumbag and that he did not deserve my vote. Because if you can't tell the difference between a bad actor and a hero, a person who has, even if you don't totally agree with Chelsea Manning, even if you are, which I'm assuming Mayor Pete is, a supporter of the establishment, supporter of the state against the people, even if you are of that type of mindset, you come from a family of people who serve, and I don't know Mayor Pete's background on this, but anybody who has the courage, anyone who has the testicular fortitude, anyone who has the will, the heart, the bravery to stand up against the state on ethics, on something that they care strongly about, you got to give them total respect. She did years in jail, in solitary confinement, and was tortured. If you don't respect her, you think she should have stayed longer, I think that says everything I need to know about Mayor Pete. And it says a lot about the people who know about Mayor Pete and know about this issue but still support him. So Mayor Pete, you keep on having those fundraisers in Hollywood. You continue to do that because you're doing very well at that, but don't look this way at progressive media. Don't look for progressive media to support you at all. I don't care if you're gay, straight, perpendicular, vertical, inverted, I don't care. Horizontal, it doesn't matter to me. You are a horrible individual. You lack a compass and you are a manufactured candidate, in my opinion. You have no real policies. You are just a talker. And I talk, but I don't want to be president. But I'd be a damn better president you would ever be, Mr. Pete Buttigieg. All right. So anyway, back to Chelsea Manning. Got hijacked by the Mayor Pete. Keep your head up, young lady. We got your back. We support you. And we're going to outlast them all. All right. Ben Shapiro is a funny guy. A lot of people respect him. I think they admire the way that he talks very fast. Listen, everybody, I think that we need to go ahead and get down to all the type. What did he say? Nothing. Yeah, people admire. They think the people that talk fast are somehow saying something more important, or maybe that they're more versed, they're well versed. And where I come from, when people talk fast, they're just trying to talk you out of something. They're trying to talk you out of something. They're not trying to help you. They're trying to talk you out of something. They're trying to pull one over on you. Well, Ben Shapiro got his comeuppance on a BBC show, a news show. I think it was Sky News. I got a clip I'd like to share with you. Check it out. Shapiro.
Interview is designed for you to shout slogans or old things that I've said at me. I don't see how this forwards the debate. You talk about undermining the public discourse. It seems to me that simply going through and finding lone things that sound bad out of context and then hitting people with them is a way for you to make a quick buck on BBC off the fact that I'm popular and no one has ever heard of you.
There are not many bucks to be made on the BBC, unlike American broadcasting, Mr. Shapiro. The point I'm trying to make is that your words are hardly designed to produce the consensus and understanding that the book seems to want to produce. That's my point, that you write about, Judeo-Christian culture and so on, but so much of what you've said in the past would seem to turn its back on Judeo-Christian culture.
You're lecturing me on Judeo-Christian culture after you call the pro-life position barbaric?
I just asked you a question.
and I asked you a question. You failed to answer a single one of mine. Frankly, I find this whole thing a waste of time. If you want to read the book and critique the book, why don't you read and critique the book? If you want to critique me, you can think whatever you want of me.
Why don't you
frankly,
just try and
I don't care. I don't frankly give a damn what you think of me since I've never heard of you.
And I've never heard of you until I briefed myself for this. But that's not the issue. You have a new book out.
Then why the hell are you interviewing me, sir?
It's an interesting book. But my point is, your book claims that
society... Well, it'd be nice if you would quote it from time to time.
Your book is... Well, actually, I've done so several times, and I'm about to do so again, if you would let me just finish the question. Your book
frankly,
claims that society is turning its back
sir,
on Judeo-Christian values.
Yeah,
what are those values? What are the values it's turning its back on?
I'm not inclined to continue an interview with a person as badly motivated as you as an interviewer. So I think we're done here. I appreciate your time, sir.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time and for showing that anger is not part of American political discourse. Now, Mr. Shapiro, we'll say goodbye.
Oh, man, my mama always told me don't kick a man while he's down. But like that Robert De Niro stomp in Goodfellas. Big mouth. I always loved the way De Niro would stomp out a guy. Him and Joe Pesci. Woo! Woo! Oh, that's like Red and 5 Heartbeats. Woo! All right, back to this, man. Ben Shapiro got destroyed. Ben Shapiro got zeroed. All right, so a couple of things about it proves. Now, look, the guy was asking a couple of questions. Ben obviously didn't like the questions. He didn't like the tenor of the interview. And I've been on the wrong side of a couple of interviews like that. What can you do, man? Sometimes you're going to show you won't know. They got a bunch of questions lined up for you. They might have a couple people in their staff, or they've done opposition research on you. You come thinking we're going to talk about one thing. They switch up the topic. They're going to talk about something totally different. Got it all lined up on you, and then you got your dummies who say don't even realize that that's a hit piece in real time. It happens, man. But what you don't do is you don't do what Ben Shapiro did. First of all, he was very arrogant. He accused this guy of just doing this to make a buck. And then he went so far as to say, I'm famous and you're not. Now, this would be sort of like elitist behavior that the right is always very critical of the left about. Isn't it? And it's like one of the knocks that they have, about people on the left is that they're always elitist, that they think they're above others. And Ben Shapiro sounds like somebody who's an elitist. He's talking about money. He's talking about how famous he is and how this guy's not famous. Then he got irate. He got pissed off. You know how I know he's pissed off? Because his face turned like 3 colors of red. And he started cursing. Yeah, the Judeo-Christian dude starts cursing. It's on live TV. He says hell and damn. Clearly upset. He reiterates that he's never heard of the guy. And obviously you've heard of me. It gets into that type of thing. Once again, elitist statements. And then he storms off like a child. Ben Shapiro storms off like a child. Throwing a temper tantrum in the studio. You big baby. I just think it's hilarious that Ben Shapiro got his butt kicked in this way. He said, you purport to be an objective journalist. BBC purports to be an objective down-the-middle network. It obviously is not. It never has been. And you as a journalist are proceeding to call one side of the political aisle ignorant, barbaric, and sending us back to the dark ages. Why don't you just say you're on the left? It turns out this guy, Neil Neil is not on the left. Andrew Neil. Andrew Neil is not on the left. He's actually a conservative. He's he's the chairman of the conservative magazine, The Spectator. He's not on the left at all. He's probably far right. He's more to the right than Ben Shapiro. But obviously, if that's what works for Ben all the time, he just smears people and says you're left wing, you're a elitist, you're a snowflake. Because that's the talking points. And it works usually when he goes on shows like Tucker Carlson, because no one challenges him. No one says, well, hold on a second, what do you mean by this? And doesn't let him pivot and moonwalk, all around the conversation. So anyway, man, I'm not inclined to continue the interview with someone as badly motivated as you. Badly motivated. He asks you questions. It's horrible. Now, my understanding of Ben Shapiro said, hey, you got me. Oh, you got me. I wasn't prepared for the interview, what have you. And I think that is the best tack that he could take. I know when I was in similar situations, I cried foul, nobody gave a damn. So Ben Shapiro did do a good job of saying, I screwed up. I should have did a better job preparing. But I don't think you can prepare for somebody to ask you questions if you say they're out of context, they're out of context. What can you do in that situation except turn the argument? Unlike some, I think if you were to turn the argument, sir, your home team, they're gonna root for you anyway, I did find it funny how Andrew Neil ended that, though. Very sarcastic quip. Well, thank you for showing to us that the American journalists don't get upset when questioned. They have a good sense of politeness when they have interviews. Thank you. This guy's like, made Ben Shapiro get smaller, which I didn't even know was possible because he's so small. Like, put Ben Shapiro right here in my pocket. Quiet, little Ben. All right, so Ben Shapiro, that's it. Next, I have a video of Bernie Sanders that I hadn't seen yet. Maybe you've seen it. It was Anderson Cooper. He interviewed Bernie Sanders. And there's a part on here where he brings up something about Trump that I hadn't heard that was hilarious. Check this out.
And the challenge of helping heal his community and
you are a major corporation. You know what? Don't think you're going to get a contract if you lay off, shut down plants and lay off American workers. Don't think you're going to get a contract if you don't allow workers to organize into a union if that's what they want to do. If you're cutting back on their health care, you have to be corporate citizens, good corporate citizens. And I think one of the ugly things we're seeing in America today is while the rich get much richer, while corporate profits are soaring, you're seeing tens of millions of workers struggling to make ends meet, people working 2 or 3 jobs. And corporate America now has got to understand that they've got to pay attention to their workers, not just to their stockholders.
You talk about unions. Former Vice President Biden at his first campaign event today was in front of firefighters union. Obviously, critical organized labor is critical support in a Democratic primary. Are you concerned that Biden can make inroads there, that Biden has a leg up there?
Well, look, I'm running against, I think, 19 other people, so I'm concerned about everybody. But I think when people take a look at my record versus Vice President Biden's record, I helped lead the fight against NAFTA. He voted for NAFTA. I helped lead the fight against PNTR with China. He voted for it. I strongly oppose the Trans-Pacific Partnership. He supported it. I voted against the war in Iraq. He voted for it. So I think what I hope, Anderson, what this campaign is about, and I got to tell you, I like Joe Biden. Joe is a friend of mine. But I think what we need to do with all of the candidates, have a issue-oriented campaign, not personal attacks, but talk about what we have done in our political lives, what we want to do as president, and how we're going to transform our economy so that it works for all of us and not just the 1%.
And just finally, I want to get your reaction to something that the president tweeted over the weekend. He said, quote, the Democratic National Committee, sometimes referred to as the DNC, is again working its magic in its quest to destroy crazy Bernie Sanders for the more traditional but not very bright, sleepy Joe Biden. Here we go again, Bernie, but this time please show a little more anger and indignation when you get screwed, end quote. Insults aside, do you know what the president is talking about? I mean, do you...
Not usually. I think most of us don't know what the president is usually talking about. But our response to that, Anderson, was, yeah, I do feel indignation and anger against a president who told the American people, you remember this, he would provide health care to everybody, and yet he worked overtime to try to throw 32 million Americans off of the health care that they have. He was a candidate who said he would not cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And then he brings forth a budget with massive cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, and cuts to Social Security as well. So our indignation is at a president who lied to the working...
about? I mean, do you...
Not usually. I think most of us don't know what the president is...
A little more anger and indignation when you get screwed to as the DNC.
Political lives, what we want to do as president, and how we're going to transform our economy so that it works for all of us and not just the 1%.
And just finally, I want to get your reaction to something that the president tweeted over the weekend. He said, quote, the Democratic National Committee, sometimes referred to as the DNC, is again working its magic in its quest to destroy crazy Bernie Sanders for the more traditional but not very bright, sleepy Joe Biden. Here we go again, Bernie, but this time please show a little more anger and indignation when you get screwed, end quote. Insults aside, do you know what the president is talking about? I mean, do you...
Not usually. I think most of us don't know what the president is usually talking about. But our response to that, Anderson, was...
Oh, God. Oh. I'm sorry, that's funny. Bernie, you know what he's talking about. No. I love you, Bernie, but you know what he's talking about. He's talking about making more noise. Literally, make more noise. Damn it. Please, make more noise. Loud, break stuff. Burn it down, Bernie. It's killing, it's literally, they are literally killing people, man. They are literally killing people, Bernie. We need to take this very serious, that people are dying every day because of neoliberal policies. So, like, I joke and stuff, but it's serious business, man. It's just a slow death. And it's other factors get blamed. So, I just thought it's hilarious. And yeah, it's true, you know. Trump did say he was going to do this. He was going to not touch Social Security, not touch this program, not touch Medicare, not do, and he went in and touched it. His people like, what? They ain't, you know. Sometimes you got to, you know, get rid of the old people. I don't know. Yeah. Horrific. All right, guys, the phone number is 319. This is just so small. I'm gonna take the phone number. I'm gonna take that phone number, move it up here, man. I got you. 319-527-6212 is the phone number. That's the number you dial if you would like to call up and be a part of the conversation. I got a couple calls in the queue right now. Let me go with 917. 917, you're live, Freedom Friday. How you doing?
Yo, Tim Black. Something's up with the phones.
Oh, really? I hear you. You can't hear me?
I can't hear you.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me, brother?
I hear you fine, brother.
319-527-6212 is the phone number. That's the number you dial.
All right, hang tight, brother.
Call up and be a part of the conversation.
Look at that. Our phone line isn't. All right, what I'll do, because this usually works. Usually, I just have to reboot it. Isn't that great? All right, KG, call back, man. I'm gonna reboot it. That's all I can do. I'm gonna restart it. I'm gonna restart it. All right. So fun times. Okay, so we'll go to chat, right? We got chat people in here. We got chat in the house, right? Chat people want some time anyway. They're like, hey, I got comments. Tim Black. What's up with the chat room? All right, so we got some people in the chat. David Maysale. I think he became a member yesterday. Shout out to David again. Shout out to A Harb. Thanks for the super chat donation, A Harb. I appreciate you being here, my friend. And then on the Facebook side, we got some Facebook people. Ginger Liberty's in the house. Ginger Beeler. Shout out to Ginger Beeler. Thank you, Ginger. I got a notification because we have a fund that I'm running a GoFundMe to get a new computer system. And we really need it, as you can see. We need some upgrades around here. David Minot, he contributed to the Tim Black new computer system, man. Thank you, David. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for doing that, my friend. And shout out to Mark and Jennifer and Nessa. How you doing? Nessa, Candle Lady, Catherine, Chris, and it's already rebooted, guys. It's a pretty good quick reboot. So this won't take long for us to see if this works. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. Scott, Uli. Yes. It's Ermin, you're welcome. Thank you, Ermin, for being a top fan. Maria's in the house. All right, so now I am going here. Patricia Gardner says Shapiro is very immature. He debates a lot of college students because he can win most of those debates by talking so fast and forcefully that they get intimidated. You know, you're pretty much right. That is how it works. There is a lot of posturing in debates. You're not on equal playing field when you're going up against a Ben Shapiro who has a microphone. You're in the rear with a mic, unless you're really prepared. And I'm not so certain people come very prepared. And plus, he has the whole crowd on his side when he goes to those colleges. So let me go blog, because they paid to see him. Look, if the people in the audience paid to see you, and there's somebody in the audience, one person standing up with a mic saying, hey, what do you mean by this? Like, you got prepared, you know. He's got a prepared line to run at you. That's all he does. And I'm not saying he doesn't do a good job. I mean, obviously it's working for him. But let's keep it real, man. Anybody can be outflanked just by somebody preparing. I'm going to continue. I'm going to do a direct connect. We're dialing back into the phone line now, guys. So, yeah, no one's above having a bad day. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is the way that he acted, like, just no reason to start cursing. And to me, the guy wasn't even that out of line. Like, he wasn't out of line at all. He was asking questions. You know? He didn't call them, like, really derogatory terms. Oh, crap. All right, let me see.
Since it appears you're calling back into a live show, we are reconnecting you now.
All right, looks good, guys. All right, KJ, let's try it again, my friend. KJ, you live, my friend. Can you hear me?
Yo, Tim Black. I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect, man. Thank you for letting me know, man. What's on your mind tonight, brother?
Well, brother, as I stated a couple weeks ago when Joe threw his hat into this race, another clear example of, and you are absolutely right. I was watching your podcast earlier today about Biden and the fact that clearly it's like playing tic-tac-toe, you know. It's like Biden for the circle to block the two X's so Bernie can't get it. And it's sad because the reality is that's exactly what's going on, because even Biden knows he can't beat Trump. And he's just doing this. This is part of his whole establishment thing to kind of seal his legacy. You know, he'll go down as a lovable loser. But definitely looks like this is what's going on. Another perfect, clear-cut example. I know you and I spoke about it a couple of weeks ago when I called when he was first on the TV show The View. Well, guess who was on The View yesterday? And she was on for a long segment, his wife. So, I mean, clearly they're getting behind him. Everybody's just going to get behind him. You know, it's like a snowball's chance in hell. I guess that's what they want to go. They want to play it safe. Because like I said, if Bernie gets in, then, you know, all these New Jack Democrats, you know, AOC and all these left-wing, real hardcore, and they're young. They're you know, they have the benefit of being kind of not a part of the ruling class of the Democratic Party. So they can say whatever they want. They can be obnoxious. They can be crazy. They can be cool. The reality is the establishment wing, Hillary and all the old birds with the money, there's no way in hell they're going to let Bernie get in there, because then they got to give away the House. And even they don't want to give away that much.
Right.
So, you know, there's only so much even the Democrats want to give away. And so to me, it's so obvious at this point, because now all of a sudden, ever since Joe got in, they ain't even talking about Buttigieg. All right. He's yesterday's news. He's, you know, it's like even in New York City here, like people are actually excited about Biden. And like that clip you played about that crazy broad saying she wanted to go back to the era, it felt safe, like home of Obama. Yeah, well, maybe she's some rich white lady who wasn't affected by, you know, things that were going on at that time. And I just mean economy-wise. But, you know, I mean, come on, bro. It's so obvious. The fix is in. It's Joe to block, not to win. You know, bro, that's the way I see it, you know. But I just wanted to give you a call. I haven't called in a couple of weeks. Hope all's well with you. Have a great night, brother.
You too, KJ. I appreciate it, man. Wow. Yeah, Joe to block. Joe to block. He's not even in it to win it. You know, first of all, guys, we gotta be realistic about what they're trying to do here. You know, I think there's nothing wrong with being realistic about what you're up against. That's the only way you can defeat it. And it's the only way you know how to deal with it both strategically and mentally, right? So, look, to beat Donald Trump when the economy's doing well, though they try their best to, you know, to not report that it's doing well, right? And we know it's doing well for multinational corporations more so than average human beings. But the same ruler that they use to measure Obama's success is the same ruler that they're using to measure Trump's. So you can't go changing the rules and how you measure just because you don't like the guy who's the coach at the time. So the reality is it's very hard to beat an incumbent. And it's more difficult to beat an incumbent when the economy is doing well. If the news is reporting, if Wall Street's reporting it, if various news sites are reporting the up in the economy, it's very hard to defeat that because the corporations are going to be behind that president and money's going to flow in. Now, I did a video earlier that KJ mentioned. I talked about $800,000 that Joe Biden raised in just one day at one fundraiser in Hollywood, like yesterday. Both him and Peter Buttigieg are raising a lot of money. Even Beto O'Rourke. So there's money being out there being thrown. I don't want people to think that everyone is on the take. Not everyone is in on this, okay? There are people who are giving money who believe in Biden. There are people giving money to Pete Buttigieg who believe in Pete. There are people that believe in Beto O'Rourke. Everyone's not on the same script. But when it comes to the DNC, when it comes to the leadership in the Democratic Party, they do have an agenda, and that agenda is Joe Biden. That's what I believe, and I think it can be defeated, and that's why they want to keep the whole Russia thing alive, because they're going to need someone to blame if they succeed in getting Joe Biden the nomination once they lose to Trump again. All right, I'm going to the next call. Thank you for holding on, guys. Boom. 678, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment? 678. Hola. Hola, amigo. 678. ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa, 678? All right.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Are you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm there, man. What's your comment, my friend?
Oh, this is Dave from Stone Mountain. How are you doing tonight?
Hey,
Tim?
what's up, Dave? How you doing, man? What's going on?
I don't know. My phone's acting kind of funny. I don't know what's going on. I'm glad, but I guess that's both of our phones acting funny tonight.
Yeah.
Cornbread thievery in action. You can always count on KJ to tell it like it is, man. He says it, and he's right, man. We all, but I mean, let's not all act surprised, okay? We all know Joe Biden is sent here to stop Sanders. But I think there are some aspects maybe he didn't see. I think it shows how desperate they are. I mean, I actually thought Joe Biden was a decent dude until I actually looked up his record. It's hard to imagine someone being tied to Obama, such a pleasantly viewed president, right? Having a vice president that fought for segregation, that just blows me away. I mean, there's just one thing after another. I'm not even going to get into it because it's just he's like the male version of Hillary Clinton. His record is horrible. He is horrible. I mean, look, I don't know what Joe Biden's deal is, wanting to feel on little girls and people. I don't know if he's a pedophile. I don't know what his deal is, Tim, but to think that someone that has those pictures floating around the internet needs to run for president, I think those show, baby, how desperate they are. I think they figured maybe Kamala Harris, being a black woman, could step in and go ahead and take the nomination, being a colored woman, female. And it hasn't worked out like they thought. And I don't think Joe really wanted to run. I think if he wanted to run, he would have ran when Obama left office. And so the fact that they're pushing him like this really shows that they're just trying to find anyone who can stop Sanders. I think Sanders has grown in strength since the last time he ran. So I think KJ's underestimating the situation a little bit. I think Sanders does have a chance to win. But no, it's not going to be easy. They are going. I mean, you know what I think, Tim. I think Clinton and Trump and these people are all on the same side. I think it's all political theater. I can't imagine why anyone would ever want to give Donald Trump airtime in any strategy and think that was a good idea. Clearly, Clinton called half the country deplorables and didn't run in swing states. I mean, I think that what Clinton did was the only way Trump could have won, was just by completely tossing the 2016 election. I think they all hid behind doors and are trying to shut any candidate of the people down. And so that's just what I think. But I just want to remind everyone that Sanders keeps telling us over and over he can't do it alone. It will take millions of us standing up. But, Tim, really what I want to mention before I get off here, what really worries me is the radical right of a lot of these religious people. A lot of these people on the right, and look, Republicans aren't but about 25% of the population. And even less of them are radical Christians that believe all kind of crazy shit. But that's still, even half of 25% of the country is like 30, 40 million people. So I would like to hear what you think about some of the things. Religion, I'm not religious, Tim. I don't believe in religion. I know you grew up in a religious household, and I'd like to hear some of these other people's opinion about what they think about the religious right, who think that religion should be in school, that religion should be in government, that we should base our values on the Bible. I really think that, quite frankly, that fantasy is giving rise to a radical version of the right that is really dangerous. And that's it, Tim. I appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, Dave, for the phone call, man. The bad thing, the most dangerous thing about religion is there are people who mean well. Like, they actually believe. Like, I know I believed it when I was a kid, when I was religious. I believed it. I believed that it was my job to try to save people's lives. And more than just their lives, their souls. Like, you know what I mean? So in that religion, you know, so that's the tricky thing about it, is his people mean well. Now, the contradictory, hypocritical, fundamentalists who, you know, who support Trump, regardless to, you know, 3 wives and philandering and grabbing people by the stuff and all that. I mean, I don't even know how you do it. Like, how can you be both ways? So that to me doesn't make sense. But I'm gonna leave the rest of the religious conversation to someone else, but I will say this. You're right, I didn't look into Biden to that extent. I knew about the crime bill, I knew about the Patriot Act, I knew about Wall Street, but I did not know about the segregational stuff. The segregation and the anti-busing and a lot of the other hot-ass rhetoric, racist rhetoric that Joe Biden has said over the years, back from the mid-'70s when he entered the Senate. And guys, once you start looking at that, you got to look at Obama and say, Obama supported this guy. Obama supported this guy, Joe Biden. Joe Biden has a horrible record, and don't you know that Obama had to know that? Not just Obama, Axelrod, all of them. Everyone in Obama's staff knew about Biden. They did not care, man. See, when I've been trying to talk to black folks for the last couple of years about look what Obama did, look what we got out of him, look at the way they positioned it, look at the way they played us. Now, this is just the cherry on the top of it all. Look at how Obama did not care about his vice president. I got a clip I just ran today in the video where Obama said that Biden was the best vice president ever in the history of vice presidents. This was a guy who was anti-busing, a guy who said racist things even about Obama when he was running against him. You know, Obama's real clean and he's articulate and, you know, but white guys, white Americans, white hard-working Americans, as if black people aren't. Why no one says black hard-working Americans? Why no one ever says Latino hard-working Americans? Why no one ever says Asian hard-working Americans? Why is there only, when you say hard-working Americans, why does it seem like it's only talking about white people? It's kind of funny, isn't it? But yeah, I just want to point that out, guys, that Obama, all the bad stuff you will unearth about Joe Biden, remember, Obama chose Biden. It's funny. Just remember, everything that you pull up, everything that you discover about Biden, remember, Obama chose him and did not give two shits about all of that. It says a lot about him. So when I tell you that Obama ain't no Brother Avenue, hell, my friend Oz from West Virginia is blacker than Obama. All right? You know what I'm talking about. What's up, Oz? How you doing, man? All right? So keep that real. Keep that really, really real. Uli's blacker than Obama. Because that's on the inside, man, being able to relate to people. Being able to relate to people who are disenfranchised. Being able to understand what it is to work hard and not get what you want. And to be shut down and be outsider and all those things. Like, Obama that's not his existence. He had no clue. And he was not attached at all to the struggle of those black people that Biden was taking a dump on back in the 70s and the 80s. So I'm going to keep it moving, guys. Thank you. Oh, and the 90s. Biden was horrible from the 70s through the 90s, all the way up to the 2000s. He'd been horrible for a long time. And now they want to play up this thing like it's all about his touchiness. See, they did the same thing with Kamala. Let me just say this, guys. They did the same thing with Kamala Harris. They tried to make it all about black people don't like her because she got a Jamaican daddy. They say she's not black enough. So they can dismiss your claims. They did the same thing with Biden. They made all of people's criticisms about Biden be about touching kids or being too touchy-feely, when it's his policies were horrible too. Like, the worst things about Biden have to do with policies. He was supporting like ex-Klansmen when he was in his early years in the Senate. These were his friends. These are the people that helped support his bills. They don't want you to talk about that. They want you to talk about, well, he blew on women, he smelled a woman's hair, and people are just too sensitive. Like, they leave out all the horrible things that Biden did policy-wise. The horrible statements. He was a bloviating, blabbermouthing bigot on the Senate floor, saying a lot of incriminating stuff for years. They don't want to talk about any of that. They want to talk about maybe he needs to learn to keep his hands to himself, as if that's a hard concept for a man to understand. What 1930s type of guy are you that you don't know that you don't touch women that aren't your woman, that aren't your wife, without permission? Like, who needs to be taught that? In the 1990s or the 2000s, who needs to be taught that? How intuitive, how smart can you be if you don't know that the world has changed since the 1920s? Like, you need to be reminded, and then your wife gets to go on TV and be interviewed and make excuses for you, and then this tramp, Alyssa Milano, gets to make excuses for you as if you're not old enough or smart enough to know you should not be smelling people's hair. You don't. Like, that's not, like, this is actual conversation. This is actual excuse making. So, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to rant on that. It's just crazy. It's crazy. You think, how long you think I would last in public life if I had a proclivity for smelling white women's hair who's not my wife? How long you think they would say, oh, well, Tim just needs to, realize that this isn't the, lock his ass up. Just lock him up. Get him out of here. Lock him up. There'll be no conversation. Be all behind it. Just be behind the glass like, all right. I'm going to the next call, man. 505, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
505, can you hear me?
I hear you, my friend. How are you?
All right. Hey, Tim Black, it's Sean. I haven't called you in a minute. Over here, the Navajo guy.
Hey, what's up, Sean? How you feeling, man?
Over here.
I know you, Sean. Good to have you
Doing
back,
good.
brother. Yeah.
Yeah. So, still, staying informed and not liking what I'm seeing. And I got a really good job now, so I'm busy running and gunning everywhere. So I don't have that much time to keep up with all this. But watching you and, of course, Tim Black TV, watching Jimmy Dore, Kyle Kalinske, all you guys, keeping me informed and keeping me laughing. But man, I was yelling at the screen when that video that you shared, that you just recently posted about the Democrats on the CNN show.
Yes, sir.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it. But I guess I could, because when I was in school, this was about, I don't know, a year ago, I was studying political science and doing a dual major with Native American Indigenous Studies. So I had a peer, and she since graduated, and I had to drop out and just focus on work and just trying to get the money, basically. It's too much, man. School is too expensive. It's really tough. But anyway, I'm doing good, and she has graduated, and now she's getting involved in the politics and everything. So touched base with her and just kind of hung out, catch up, just to see where she's at, politically, just kind of bounce that ball back and forth. But I thought, she's involved and she's really informed, and we're probably going to have a lot in common in terms of policy or candidates, right? So I asked her, how do you feel about 2020, and just talking. And she sounded just like those Democrats. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. She was saying Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, and Joe Biden were the top three. And I was like, what are you talking about? You heard of Tulsi Gabbard. She's my number one. Bernie Sanders is my number two. And that's it. But, just that segment, what you're saying of how, everything is just, what the F, you know what I mean? Like, what the heck? But I just wanted to call in, show my appreciation, still listening, still watching, still enjoying what you're doing, Mr. Tim Black.
Thank you, brother.
And I just want to show some love.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, man. It's great hearing from you, man, and it's crazy, man. I'm kind of sad. Thank you for the phone call, my brother. It bothers me, man, that you weren't able to continue your studies. And when we talk about, education and how much it costs, man, I'm glad you're doing well. Don't get it twisted. I'm glad you're doing well, and you said you got a better job and limits your time. But I just think that people should be able to go for their dreams, man. You know, this that I'm doing, I started like 8 years ago, but I started writing when I was in my early 20s, man. I just couldn't afford to stay in it. You know, I had a family, and it didn't pay well to write. I was writing for a local newspaper here in Washington, D.C. called the Capital Spotlight. And I had a column in the newspaper. Circulation was like 60,000, which was huge to me. This is before the internet was popping. And I just couldn't find a way to make it work financially, and that's the hardest thing, man. So I feel you. I just think that we need to restructure our economy so people like you, brother, can be able to chase their dreams, man, and not have the fear. And the same thing goes to people like me, even later in life, when you say, okay, you know what? I don't want to leave my dreams unfulfilled. Let me go for it. And it's like, you worried about healthcare. So that's why the healthcare debate is important, because a lot of people can't do what they want to do or what they dream of doing because they got to pay to keep their healthcare going. So, man, I love you that you called up, man. It's good to hear from you as always. I'm going to go to the next call, 907. 907, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
It's Laura, honey.
Hey, Laura.
I just wanted to call up and see if you got those super chats last week for your computer.
Yes, we did. Thank you, Laura. I appreciate it.
Okay, honey. I'm not going to talk long. Just want to tell everybody in the sit back and love them. Keep working hard. We're going to get through it one way or the other. And remember that we are brothers and sisters, no matter what. And we're meant to be better than this. And we don't need anyone's permission to be better than this. So work hard at just being good to one another and love one another. We can't control what we can't control. But what we can do our best. I love you all. And take good care of each other. Much love to y'all. Good night.
All right, Laura. Gosh, lady, you need to take care of yourself. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. All right, guys. All right, this show is brought to you by the Tim Black Wolfpack and all the people who called up to the show, such as Laura, KJ, Dave Stone Mountain, my brother, my Navajo Indian brother from another mother, and now would be a good time to subscribe to this channel, become a member today, share it on your social media, let people know. Subscribe to the Tim Black Show. We are not bought and paid for by the DNC or the GOP or the RNC or any other acronym. It's only supported by people like you who view the content and enjoy the content. So I encourage you to become a member of it. It'll be worth it. And we are family and we care about each other, as you can see. And yeah. All right. 501. 501, you're live on Freedom Friday. How you doing, 501?
Hey, Tim, it's Sean from Arkansas here. First, let me send a big hug out to Laura.
Absolutely.
Anyway, and then the next thing I want to say is, and I always like to say thank you, Tim, for what you're doing over there. And I got a confession to make. I'm a really terrible fan. I've been a fan of yours since the 2016 election. And I discovered you through YouTube. And so I've always kind of come at you randomly with my support in small amounts through super chats and probably all the wrong channels to throw support your way. But I want to publicly proclaim as soon as I'm done here, I'm going over to join the Wolf Pack. The money's in the bank. I can do it. I'm going to support you properly this time. So I just wanted to put that out there first and say thank you for what you're doing. It's been great to discover you, and I'm looking forward to a lot more truth out of Tim Black. Okay, and so before I run out of time, I wanted to speak to the upcoming election and say that in my opinion, in my humble opinion, it's already written. Donald Trump is a shoo-in. The latest aggregate poll numbers that I heard put him at 45% approval rating, which is up, and it's pretty close to his all-time high, which is only 46 or some odd percent, which, by the way, is more than enough to get reelected. The Russiagate conspiracy theory, which in my mind, looking back on it now, seems like it was a very effective disinformation campaign, as well as a smokescreen to cover the butts of some people that did a whole lot of other stuff that we have quite literally lost track of all the real fuckery that went on back in 2016. And so I don't know how anyone as a Democrat could even participate in the primary election when your party has already admitted they don't owe you a fair primary. They have, I don't know, whitewashed the whole entire corruption of that organization. And I don't think they did anything that I'm aware of, at least to correct the superdelegate system that they have in place. So your vote doesn't matter in the primary. You'll take whatever fucking candidate they give you. You'll take it and you'll like it because it's not Trump. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't know, man. It seems to me like they were broke when Hillary Clinton she organized that to make them broke so she could do what she did, but whatever. They were broke when she came in and she lost. Well, so where does that leave you? If you were broke before your losing-ass candidate came in and saved you, how in the hell are they even around? Market forces should have already forced them out. So I don't know who's propping them up or why they even exist, but I think it's time to let the Democrats die. Let's revive. Let's get something new and shuck out all that non-working ass bullshit we got going. All right, and so I just wanted to say those things. Thank you again, Tim, for the great show. It's always a pleasure to catch you on Friday nights. That's how bad my life is. I would rather spend it with you than anybody else in my life.
Well, look, that goes to me too, brother. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate it, man. Hey, look, Sean, man, look. Okay, so and you made some very valid points. The changes to the superdelegates are that the superdelegates will not vote on the first string of votes, right? Only if it goes to a second ballot will the superdelegates vote. But as you can see, we got 22 candidates. So the probability of a candidate winning on the first ballot over a majority is very, very not likely. So they will probably have to go to a second ballot. And then that's where the superdelegates get to vote. So you're right, they did pull a flim-flam. Notice that in 2016, there only like 4 Democrats ran, and suddenly now everyone's running. And I, like you, Sean, like I realize that the sky is blue, grass is green, and I know the difference between water and urine. So yeah, that's, you know, so don't tell me that they didn't have something to do with 22 different candidates running in 2020 and only 5 running in 2016. Come on. as far as Hillary Clinton, brother, I can tell you this. The DNC being bankrupt, you got to thank Obama for that one. They spent a lot of money on Obama's re-election in 2012. That's what left the coffers pretty much empty. Oh, the pantry was bare. I forget the name of that story where the poor little dog didn't have a bone in the pantry. It was like, there was no bones in the pantry for the little puppy dog. Well, that's how Obama, that's how they left it after he, they spent a lot of dough. So, yeah, and you're right. Hillary Clinton owned the DNC for the 2016 race, and that's why they were able to basically black out Bernie Sanders, man. So thank you. And look, Sean, it's all good, man. Welcome to the Wolfpack, brother. Glad to have you, man. I'm glad to have, you sticking around. And when things work out, people financially are able to join. Until then, we keep doing what we can do. And I really appreciate it, though. Thank you for joining. 704? 704, you're live. Hey, 704. 704.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hey, how you doing, my friend? You're live, Freedom Friday. Who's this?
Hey, Tim, this is Bruce from Charlotte. How's it going?
What's up, Bruce? How you feeling, man?
I feel like I'm in one of those Twilight Zone episodes where they have the one where like the guy is like living like the Groundhog's Day, but it's like a nightmare. And it's like the same thing over and over again. You have an establishment candidate who hangs off the balls of Barack Obama and basically tries to use a billion platitudes only to get curb stopped by Donald Trump in the end. You know that one, that Groundhog Day. Now, I know you don't. It was a while back ago, but I think Joe Biden was still trying to figure out whether or not he wanted to even jump into the race. I called in a couple of months ago and mentioned that the reason why it would be a bad idea for Biden to jump into the race is not only because of the litany of bad ideas, bad policies, bad behavior, bad, etc., that Biden has, not just as a politician, but just as a human being. If he were to run, he would be so bad that he would start fucking up Barack Obama's legacy. And what have we here? He jumps into the race, and now all of a sudden, at least on the Republican side and some of the people on the progressive left, are starting to say, how the hell did Barack Obama not see this? How does Barack Obama, with all of his Harvard law degree and all of his insight and knowledge, not see this motherfucker from a mile away? Kind of like how, why didn't Hillary Clinton not know that Tim Kaine was a horrible ass idea? And that is what people are like sitting here actually believing that Biden isn't getting Barack Obama's approval or his endorsement because he doesn't want it to be unfair. No, Barack learned his lesson. He did that in 2016, and he got his ass embarrassed when he tried to back Hillary early. We saw how that ended. We saw how, he should have saw it coming when Andrew Gilliam got his support. And a couple other Democrats got his support and lost. So sitting here acting as if Barack Obama isn't getting in because he wants things to be fair, I think we all understand that's kind of bullshit at this point. He doesn't want Joe Biden, he doesn't want to get any of Joe Biden's BS on his legacy any more than what Hillary did back in 2016. That's what's going on. And can we please, we all know this, but I think the frustrating thing is for the average viewer, they don't understand how much establishment BS goes up the buttholes of these media characters. The Stephen Colberts, the Trevor Noahs, those raggedy bitches on The View. All of them will sit there in one episode and we'll talk about how indecent, how indignant, how horrific of a president Donald Trump is. But then, in the same episode, you'll have an Anna Navarro talk about, well, if there's only 2 women who came out against Biden talking about how he inappropriately touched them, I think that's a lot better than, 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. And I'm like, the fuck you talking about? you dumb bitches were talking about Me Too this and Me Too that for how many months? And now since your homeboy is now running for office, I think we just took this Me Too thing too far. Asshole. And then the worst part about it is I can't even get mad at a lot of those misinformed voters that was on CNN. You know why? Because when it comes to propaganda, that's the only thing that seems to trickle down in this damn country. Because I bet you right now, if you go into the personal histories, the politics, and the finances of each one of the individuals that they were talking to on CNN, none of those people were either financially affected, or if they were financially affected, the media source where they got their information was about as bought off as any of the CNN cronies that you see doing the same bullcrap over and over again about how Bernie isn't going to make it or how Tulsi is irrelevant. And you get it every single day. You get it from the news, and then when you try to escape the news, then you get it from your daily night TV shows, or you'll get it from your morning shows. How many times have we heard Stephen Colbert literally, basically at this point, make a living off of Donald Trump monologues? Like, it never ends. It never ends. And to be honest with you, I feel like it was one of those twofold plans. What they tried to do was they threw a hail of politicians at Bernie. First you had, Kamala and Corey, and then you have, Buddy, whatever his name is. And then you have, now you got people that no one even heard of. Like this Marianne Williamson woman who Oprah worked with a long time ago or some shit. I don't even know. All I know is the bitch likes reparations. That's it. And she wrote a book.
Whoa.
You got all these politicians coming in that, basically have, one policy. Like Andrew Yang and his UBI shit. And I'm like, that's great. But, what else do you have there? Because, at this point, now you're just basically trying to flood, like you said, trying to flood the field so then Bernie can't get an outstanding win. And then you're going to crown Biden. Biden's going to go against Trump. But the thing is, Biden is establishment. Trump gets to do what the hell he wants. So he gets to crap on him, talk about his history, talk about his wife, talk about his mama. And you know what Biden's going to do? He's just going to do that same platitude. Oh, we're going to make the country moral again. Did you hear that shit, Tim? Wait. Back up for a second, Tim. Back up for a second. When the hell has America ever been moral? Our country was literally built off of the raping and murdering of another group of people. Then the importing and slavery of another group of people, followed by decades and decades of discrimination of other groups of people as they came into the country. We turned back the Jews back in World War II. So to sit here and talk about when the country was moral again, I would love to see what passage of time this motherfucker is talking about. And lastly, I think one of your previous callers mentioned something about the whole thing with religion in schools. Horrible idea. Solely off of the fact that you're not in a Christian nation. You are in a nation that respects all religions. I'm pretty sure Christians wouldn't be too happy if all of a sudden we actually did have a Muslim president And he was like, guess what? We're reading the Quran from now on, motherfuckers. I wonder how many protests we would have then. But I'm just laying off some steam, Tim. Tell me if anything I said you have any type of indifference with, because I totally, love the group banter back and forth. But at this point, I feel like if they screw Tulsi, if they screw Bernie, we're just going to have 4 years of Trump. And to be honest with you, and this is the one thing they will never tell you, at the end of the day, every single person from CNN to MSNBC to The View to The Daily Show to the nightly shows, all those people will never be affected because their bank account is above the ability to feel the actual direct issues that the American person, the American worker affects or gets every single day, whether that's health care, whether that is dealing with the day-to-day situations of housing, or dealing with any other types of financial or economic situations in this country. So think about where your news is coming from and how much those people are making before you start taking some of what they're saying as fact.
All right,
Have a
Bruce.
good night, Wolfpack, and hope you feel better, Laura. We love you.
Right. Thank you, Bruce, man. Yeah, man. I'm looking for something that you said. Like, yeah, man. I was talking about it earlier about how Biden's run really exposes Obama to be basically a shell of a human being, a horrible guy. Like, obviously, he knew all these things about Joe Biden way before we did. Like, they vetted you vet a vice president. If you don't do nothing else, you vet the heck out of a vice president. This stuff is out there. They knew. So, yeah. And, it's become like conversation that there's no way that Obama wants to, like, put his nose further. I don't think he wanted Biden to run, frankly. Why would he want Biden to go out there and all this stuff get dug up? That'd be the last thing you want. So I'm sure he's going to be lazy I do expect him to try to endorse Biden at some point, though. I do expect that because Obama don't get to do what he wants to do. He got to do what he needs to do to be a part of the team. He'll take one for the team. He don't care. He's got millions and millions of dollars coming in. He don't care. He'll do it. I will say this, though, about the people in the CNN panel. And I did a great video, and I let out my emotions. And those who watch the show know that video was actually from Thursday, where I did it live right here, like tonight. Like, it was a rant I went on, and all I did was clip it and put it in another video by itself. It's doing very well right now. But if you would have saw Tim Black in 2008, I could have been one of those idiots up on that panel because I was watching MSNBC and CNN and believing that stuff. Maybe not as much as them. Like, I knew that it was a racket, and I knew that Obama probably wasn't going to do half of the crap he was talking about doing, but then I realized he wasn't ever telling us he was going to do anything. So when he went in and he helped women with the equal pay thing, when he went in and he helped DACA, when he went in and he helped Equal Marriage Act, those are things he promised to do. He didn't promise to do anything for us as far as black folks. So he lived up to his word of not doing nothing. And you get to have me. Like, Obama's whole thing was, you get me. Now your kids could say, I could be president one day. All you black moms will tell your kids, you could grow up to be president. Now you get them, now it's true. Don't answer nothing else, though. You get that. Go ahead now. Go run away. Run away. And to the poor Americans, struggling Americans on opiates, Americans, veterans committing suicide, over 100 veterans every day, 100 opiate overdoses, homeless people who have jobs who just don't make enough to live indoors, babies, kids living underneath the poverty line, people working these gig economy jobs, people who were dumb enough to think, hey, I'm just going to drive Uber and Lyft. I don't need no regular job with benefits. Who fell into it because it sounded like a good way to be your own boss. They're getting it stuck. They're getting it handed to them now. So Yeah, brother. It's disgusting. And I think we're going to have to really fight. And I think people are waking up. A lot of people are cutting the cord, man. Let's not underestimate how many people don't watch cable news anymore. A lot of people don't. And they throttle us, a lot of us. They know our awareness is crazy. It's gonna be a slugfest. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to the next call. Thank you for holding on. 316, you're live. Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment?
Hi, Tim. This is Sarah.
Hello, Sarah.
I just wanted to kind of bring back Mike Gravel back into the picture. He's running again this year. He ran in 2008 and absolutely destroyed all the corporate Dems on the stage. And after he did that, he wasn't invited back to the debates after that. I think we need to make sure we're supporting him and get him back into the debates for this go around. And that's about all I have to say about that. To me, he's an American hero. He exposed the Pentagon Papers to the public, and basically, in a way, got us out of Vietnam. So he's helped with whistleblowers and an American hero. So.
All right. Well, thank you for calling up. Mike Gravel was supposed to be on my show. I'm in talks to get that rescheduled because we've been having some computer issues, and hopefully we're okay now. Enough for me to do interviews. Luckily, when I have interviews, things seems to work out pretty well. So we got a couple of different interviews set up. One is with Mike Gravel, the other one's with Tulsi Gabbard. And I'm also in talks. I'm trying to get Marianne Williamson on the show. And I'm also shooting to try to get Elizabeth Warren. So I'm working behind the scenes to try to bring these people on the show. So Mike Gravel is somebody I want to talk to. And definitely. 412, you're live, Freedom Friday. What's your name? What's your comment, 412?
Hey, Tim. Hey, Wolfpack. It's Uli. Wow, this is some show tonight. Everybody has to contribute so much, so I'm all over the place a little bit. But well, first of all, last week when the show didn't happen, last week I was really triggered, and probably a good thing that the show didn't happen because I was fuming. I want to hook in with what everybody else and what we've all been talking about now for a while is how the mass media, how they are focused on these personalities and what they're focusing on and what a lot of people are still buying and, hook, line, and sinker buying. That Thursday video you did live Thursday was awesome, and it was exactly that day. No, it was Thursday a week ago. Yeah, it was Thursday. Oh, I forget. Anyway, it doesn't matter. I ran into two people, and this is similar to what Sean, a Navajo friend, had to say earlier. You run into people who you think are somewhat educated or in touch with things, and you strike up a conversation, and lo and behold, they come at you like, I think Joe Biden, is a cool guy, and I know if I had to vote, I'd vote for him, and Kamala Harris, and I just about fell over. I can't believe this is coming out of this person's mouth, because I really thought, I've known these people a few years now, and they were Bernie supporters 3 years ago, and I was completely shocked. Yeah, and sometimes it's really hard. You know how you always say, sprinkle a couple of facts and walk away. And sometimes I was like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I mean, I raised my voice and everything. I was just so completely floored. And I said, what would you, And then it got further. They think that what's her name, Rachel Maddow, it's just about the cat's meow when it comes to journalism. I could barely hold on myself. I had the hardest time this is at work. This is at my work. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just threw my arms up in the air and said, okay, you know what? I got stuff to do. I had to run away. And after I was, I was really pissed off. It really, really grabbed me. And then following that, I was really depressed. I was really down. I'm like, oh my God. I mean, this is really what's going on. And you all know here I haven't been watching regular news for well over a decade. I turned off that television well over a decade. Honestly, I forget. In between I watched the World Cup, the soccer World Cup, and now I stream boxing online. There's very little mass entertainment or whatever that I expose my brain to. And if it wasn't for you, Tim, I'd be clueless. And I want to take this opportunity to thank you for suffering through this BS and sort of relating the bits and pieces to us that we should know, so we know how to even handle ourselves when we are out in public. This being said, I really want to encourage everyone, don't be embarrassed if all you can contribute is $1 or $2 or so, because if everybody who follows someone, a couple of thousand people contributes $1, that's a couple of $1,000. You got to think that way. So, but yeah, we're surrounded by people who are still watching cable and cable news, and these people that call themselves journalists that aren't. They are propagandists. They are Goebbels. They're all little Goebbels. That's how you got to look at them, and that's how I've met these two people since, and we just had a little awkward moment for a moment, and then I say, well, think about it this way, and I do have this advantage of not being from here, so I get some forgiveness sometimes. I think that, people, they forgive me a little easier, so that makes it easier for me. But support your independent media. If if that's what you can give is $1, then give $1. Don't think like I'm too embarrassed to give $1. Give that $1. But if I may have another second, because Sarah just brought up Mike Gravel, and I wasn't familiar with him, and I read up on him a little bit, and I think he's a really important contributor to the conversation. Even though there are people running whom you may not have heard of, I don't think they're really running to win the presidency, but to bring up a conversation that is otherwise not being had. Even Tulsi Gabbard, although I think she should run full force, I would like nothing better than for her to win the presidency, to be honest with you. Tulsi Gabbard makes the most sense of all. And I like Bernie, don't get me wrong. I really like Bernie. Without Bernie, much of what we're doing here and what we're seeing and hearing wouldn't happen. Let's just be honest. He really broke down some barriers. But what I like about Tulsi, what I like about Mike Gravel, is that their main focus, their main platform is ending of the wars. And if we skim it all down and take it all down to the nucleus of all of our problems, it is the wars. If we can take the money that now goes into the military-industrial complex, and all our problems be solved. There's plenty of money there for Medicare for all. There's plenty of money for education. There is plenty of money for reparations. And the reparations for the American descendants of slaves, and I know I keep bringing this up every time, and I do it on purpose because we're in a class warfare. There is no doubt about it. We're struggling. It's poor against rich, and it's really hard. But what I need my fellow white friends to understand is, no matter how low on that ladder, you might think you're on that lowest rung of that ladder, and you're still standing on the shoulders of slavery. Okay, so our status, no matter how low we may be right now, my income personally is right down there, right down there with the American descendants of slaves. But I have the benefit of my ancestors not having been slaves, so there's a cushion there. There's a cushion of generational wealth that they were able to, provide for me, that the descendants of American slaves, they don't have that. And if we are talking about unification and let's all unite and fight this class war together, I sincerely believe, I wouldn't be stressing this point, it's not some strange obsession of mine, but I honestly believe that the first step in this class war needs to be of bringing our African American descendants of slaves to the level where we're already at. So let's bring them up with us, and then we can talk all we want about the class warfare. So there, I did it again. It's not some, you know what I mean? It's not some weird kinky thing. I've been really studying this for a number of years now and following this. Also, be aware that we need each other. This is not something we generously should be doing to make us feel better. It has nothing to do with guilt, nothing. Let's be pragmatic about it. We need each other. And, we need that too. There cannot be unification if we are already a step ahead. That cannot happen. So it's important. So there. Have a good weekend, everybody.
You too,
Good night.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate you. Wow, I bring it up. I brought it up before. I've talked about the ADOS. I've talked about reparations, and it's like sometimes it's hard getting through to some people about it because they look at life through themselves. They don't look at I gotta remember, people don't know statistics. Like, they don't realize that the average black family, that's like my family, has less than 1/10 of what the average white family has as far as wealth. And because of that wealth, the pass down of property, the pass down of businesses, the pass down of stocks and bonds, things, these wealth instruments, things that accrue, they gain in value, rise in value, that white folks have the ability to pass down because of generations and generational wealth. A high school dropout white guy is worth more than a college-educated black dude. But when we look on the surface, we just see black people, he got a car. Yeah, but he's paying 29% interest on that car. He's got the same credit rating as you, and you're paying 14. We don't know this stuff. You just don't. So, frankly, I'm not going to go far into it tonight, but thank you, Lee, for bringing up the conversation. People don't realize that the black wealth and that black wealth is going down and white wealth is going up right now. This is the policies that are in place are helping us. That's why when people say, what are you going to do for us? They don't understand. And frankly, I hate to say it, a lot of people just don't care, man, because they just worry about themselves. I would rather, that's why I love, man, I like Archie Bunker. And I like bigots who are they speak their mind and they keep it real. Like, they just tell you the truth. At least you know what you're working with. What I don't like is people who won't speak the truth, but they do the same thing as the Archie Bunkers and the bigots. They just don't want to keep it real. Just say you don't care, man. I respect that more. Like, I respect somebody say, I just don't care, man. I don't care about you. I care about me. And that's really what it comes down to with a lot of these folks. But I always blame the government first. Even though I hate the foul-mouthed woman outside of the Walmart, they always get her on tape. They get her on the smartphone where she's using the N-word in front of kids, calling some grown man a boy or something, or some weird bigoted thing, racist thing they're saying. I can't stand that, but I'm always more critical of institutional racism than I am of individual people who really have no power. Don't get me wrong, they're just tasteful, but they're not the decider on what your credit's going to be or if you're going to get hired. I mean, we all know it, man. They do studies like, You can, you know, if you got a black sounding name, you don't get called back for jobs. Like regular stuff we deal with. But I want to bring up something else because all week I keep hearing these people on the left, and not just on the left, I would say the fake left, like the neoliberals, the corporate media folks, people who watch MSNBC and CNN, they keep talking about Donald Trump's tax returns from 1984 and 85 and 92 or whatever. And I would laugh my ass off, man, because they said that Trump lost $1 billion. That didn't stop MSNBC or CNN or NBC from hiring him. And that didn't stop all these other networks from propping him up over the years. What happened to their due diligence? Why didn't anybody know that? In fact, Trump, I saw a tape where Trump admitted he lost a lot of money in the 90s. And that he was almost through, but he came back. Like he's admitted this before. He was being videotaped when he said it. But they talk all this stuff about Trump. How many of them have talked about the Pentagon who don't know what they did with $21 trillion? Like Trump lost $1 billion of his own money. Pentagon lost $21 trillion of our money. And no one talks about it. And it was just in 2018. It wasn't 12 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago. In 2018, they can't account for $21 trillion. And no one's talking about it. Silence. But they'll talk, Matt Al will talk for 2 days. Harry and Chris Hayes will talk for 2 or 3 days about Trump losing $1 billion of his own money 20 years ago. Over 20 years ago. Go yourself. All right, I'm going to the next call. And look, and that don't make me a Trump supporter. That makes me a person who's not, who pays attention, who reads. That's all it makes me. It's not a defender of Trump to bring up reality. 21 trillion is a lot more than $1 billion. And it wasn't like he lost $1 billion of your dollars. He lost $1 billion of his own dollars. It's a hypocrisy, man. It's the hypocrisy that kills us. All right. And if I know it, they know it. And why is it? Why do you have to come to Tim Black channel on my channel on Periscope or YouTube or Facebook or wherever you're watching this and get that real truth? Why isn't that something that they didn't bring up? Don Lemon didn't bring up on CNN, or Chris Cuomo when he's doing his little touching moments, or Lawrence O'Donnell or Chris Matthews. Why isn't Joy Reid going to talk about that this weekend? Why isn't she going to bring up that fact about the Pentagon? There's your answer. Thank you for the phone call, Uli. Yep, 304. What's up, Oz? How you doing, man?
Hey, Tim. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Good to have you. What's up?
It's Friday to have me a few adult beverages. Have me tuned in there. I don't know if I'm more black than Obama, but I do empathize a lot better. A few hours of listening to Dr. Joy DeGruy will educate anybody. It will break down the science of how we became a country and where we are today with everything that's going on. And I think he could benefit from some of those. What Uli, my neighbor from the north there, she's up in 412, so she's a PA person there. She hit the nail on the head a lot of things. I meant as far as the free media, if anybody listening to this right now enjoys Tim, and if you really enjoy it and you want more people to enjoy it, the only way that it's going to happen is through dollar bills. You get Tim a little bit more cash flow, he can expand his network, expand his business, advertise a little bit more, get his word out a little bit more. So me and many other Patreons and stuff that we give, we want to see Tim's message reach further than these elections, further. Tim speaks the truth. I've been with him for 5-6 years now. I've not wavered. I listen to him all the time. But yeah, you've got an extra couple bucks in your pocket, you can do so. Please do so. Give to Tim and media that you believe in, that is truthful, that does their homework, that gets the word out, that you enjoy, that you know other people need to hear and other people need to enjoy. With that other thing that Uli's saying, man, I'm a 45-year-old white male born in the hills here in West Virginia, and I've told many of people that I'm all about equal rights, not special rights. The bar has been set that white male privilege is the epitome of end-all be-all in America, and I want everyone, every human being, to have the privileges that I have the pathways that I've got. That's what I want. That's what I'd like to see. And as far as what's going on politically now, because I get to travel a lot. I travel to Ohio, I travel to Pennsylvania, I travel to Western Maryland, and of course here in my home state. The one that speaks to me most as of right now, that when I listen to these candidates talk, and I'm not pandering or anything, is Tulsi Gabbard. I think her military background speaks a lot to me. That for me, growing up in these hills, and I know a lot of kids here and a lot of my family members and stuff went to the military because that was the option. It was coal mines, military. There wasn't a whole lot of college options. That stuff cost. So when I see somebody that enlisted in the military, and I know what my friends went through, I know what my families went through in the military, and what it turned them into as far as leaders, as go-getters, as people that are open to listening. When I listen to her, I don't see an identity politic person. I see somebody that's willing to listen to all angles of a problem and try to take it head on. And she doesn't stutter. She doesn't falter. So as of right now, if somebody asked me today at this moment who would be my pick, I think Tulsi would be my pick. She's not pandering. Kamala Harris, she lost me before she was really starting into the thing, but she really lost me when she went on that Breakfast Club and played I was listening to Tupac and Biggie back in the day when Tupac and Biggie didn't even have songs out. That's pandering. I mean, you don't have to lie. Don't lie to my face. Yeah, I'm a white boy from West Virginia, but guess what? I love hip-hop, R&B, and rap, too. I know my history. I know my roots from way back when. I know when these guys started. I had posters. I had magazines. I had the CDs. I was banging that stuff out. Then I had Tupac in the CD changer with Leonard Skinner. I'm that eclectic, So, and that's the people that know me know that is the truth. I'm a music lover. If it's something I like, I listen to it. I'm not one-sided. If it's a country song I like, I'll listen to it, but I'm not one genre. Other than that, Tim, man, I wish you all the best. And I really implore people to donate to the channel, donate to getting another computer, getting your word out, allowing you to have some advertising flow out there to maybe put some ads out there so you can reach the masses, get a bigger audience. You deserve all the best. You're doing your clip on Trump the other night. I mean, nail on the head as far as they're crying over taxes. What you just said 20 years ago, I would love to lose $1 billion and still have what he has. I mean, give that to me any day. Put me in the line for that. And Trump was a darling running the Miss, the World Woman pageant. I don't know what that is. Yeah. Miss Universe pageant. Yeah, that's it. Look at the history of Trump in Hollywood with music videos, TV shows, cameos in movies. Hollywood and the left loved him until he ran. He was not a racist or a bigot while he was running The Apprentice. He was not a racist or a bigot while he was running the Miss Universe pageants. He was not a racist or a bigot. All this stuff that they're painting Trump with, they didn't look at it as taxes back then. They didn't care. Man, you got to be kidding me. And when I was telling you, I run all the states here, and I don't bring up politics. That's not my job to. My job is to work on stuff, and I stay out of it. But if somebody poignantly asks me face-to-face or brings it up and what's your opinion and stuff like that, I give my fair shake, like you said, to sprinkle some facts and walk away. I don't go overboard. I don't get mad. And we have different opinions, They have their beliefs. I have my beliefs. It is what it is. But somebody asked me the other day, and my business, I have been busy here in the last year and a half like I haven't been busy in a while. The economy, I'm not lying, I see the reverberations here in my state and the surrounding states. It did pick up. And somebody said, well, how you guys doing? How you business running? I said, I'll tell you what. I said, I don't care who's running against Trump next election. I'm voting against him because I'm tired of working these 60-hour weeks. I said, this is ridiculous. And that speaks a lot for a lot of these working people. And as far as that, and I am tired. There's got to be some medium, but the economy has picked up and people have the flows to do more with their monies. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, as just the economy, but the current crop of Democrats that they've got running against them, that speaks volumes to the working class people, the people in the Rust Belt, the people in the Bible Belt, the people out in the Midwest in the factories and stuff that got jobs, picked back up jobs, and are doing, and are able to provide for their family. And the economy is a strong, strong point, and it's going to be a hard one to overcome. So that's where I'm seeing it right now at this point in time. Like I said, politics is like the weather. It can change from day to day. True. What I said about Tulsi tonight, maybe there's some news that comes out tomorrow that will change my views, or she'll do or say something, or another politician comes in place and lights me up better than I like her. But just listen to her in common sense terms when I hear her talk. She's the most rational when I hear her speak. Other than that, Tim, I love you. I'm always here for you. If you need something, you get a hold of me.
Hey, man. Thank you, Oz, for the comment, brother. I appreciate it as always, man. And yeah. I tell you, man, it's really tough, man. I really like Tulsi Gabbard. I really do. I'm looking forward to the opportunity to sit down and talk with her. And I was just talking to her people today, actually. And what it looks like, because, she's, obviously she's a congressperson. She goes to D.C. from time to time. And you know me, I live right here next to D.C., right? So we're going to do an in-person interview. So we're going to have the cameras there on location. Instead of doing a virtual interview with her, we're going to schedule something where I can come down and meet her in D.C., her and my camera crew, which is my son, and we can film it. So that's going to be great. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be a great opportunity. And shout out to the Team Tulsi, Tulsi 2020, guys. Remember, she needs to get into the debates. I would contribute to her if you can, because they've moved the goalpost from 65,000 donations to 100,000 donations. And I don't think that's by chance. I think it was strategic that they moved the goalpost. So let's make sure we get her in those debates. 808. 808, you're live Freedom Friday.
Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris, what's up, man? What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm just calling. I wanted to bring up something I think a lot of people forget about when it comes to 2020 and the Democratic candidate who gets nominated. We talk about all these programs we want to see happen. We want to see campaign finance reform. We want to see Medicare for all. We want to see all of these policies that we know are going to help those of us who are out on the streets every day, working, supporting our families, taking care of our communities. But what we forget about a lot of times is the president can't implement these programs on their own. We've seen the current president attempt to do things like that, but the legality obviously comes up that Congress legislates. And right now, what we have in Congress, majority of, is a bunch of corporate-owned candidates. So, my opinion, personally, the one key issue for most of us who have our eyes open that can be immediately affected by a presidential candidate is ending foreign regime change wars. And so my personal opinion, having a candidate in office who will take care of that from day one with a sound plan, with experience in this arena, can have a huge domino effect. We bring that money home. All of a sudden we have, $200 billion a year for social programs in this country. We bring back everything that's been rolled back because we have the cash now. And the one candidate who I think is best able and who I trust the most is going to do something like that is Tulsi Gabbard. She shows her commitment to that issue from all the way back in 2016, from way before then, but very publicly and painfully, I might add, for her and her career politically in 2016. She named that as the number one reason why she stepped down and endorsed Bernie Sanders, because she believed that he was more aligned with her number one issue, ending these foreign regime change wars. We get that $200 billion. The American people see a president who is not owned by corporate interests in office and what they can do then we can start a snowball effect. Then we can get more of the groups like Justice Democrats, of the groups even on the Republican side. Guess what, guys? There are groups on the Republican side that want money out of politics.
Oh.
All of these groups start getting support.
Wow.
All of these groups, you know, they start rolling. They start gaining momentum. That's how I see us making a real change and getting these issues taken care of. Because I'll tell you what, 2020, I don't see us getting very far on Medicare for all. We had Congress on the left fully locked down under Obama. And what did we get? We got the ACA. We didn't get Medicare for all. We had the will of the people and the power to make it happen, and it didn't happen. And why is that? All the excuses in the world from these corporate candidates who are taking money from pharmaceuticals, taking money from big oil, taking money from the military-industrial complex. Tulsi Gabbard is the only one who I trust. We'll bring our troops home, our boys and girls in uniform, laying down their lives. And for what at this point in these engagements? It's not for us.
No.
It's for corporate war profits.
All right.
And
yeah.
I just wanted to call and bring that up. You know, the president really can't do that much as far as the issues we want to see action on, but they can do that.
Good point, man.
That's a big one.
Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the phone call, man. And hey, man, look, you know what? That's what I like to hear. I like to callers as I bring you in. Tell me who you support. If you had to vote today, who would you be voting for? If you don't mind sharing that information. Mr. Kokata's in the house. Mr. Kokata, what's up, man?
Yo, Tiff.
What's up, man?
Okay, let me. Oh shit! Almost stepped. Hold on. You know I'm old. I'm about 8,375 years old. So let me move my leg this way. Sit up on the bed this way. Grab my adult beverage. You already know where I'm at. Sitting by the fireplace. All the old school wolf heads know. KJ. Dave from Stone Mountain. Marvin and Marvin's sister. Shout out Laura.
Man.
You can make it, baby. If I can make it, you can make it. Trust. I forgot the little dude he's calling from Texas. Autumn.
Yeah. Yeah. Stella's dad. Stella's dad, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Stella's dad. Yeah, Stella's dad. Yes. Oh man, I used to be able to rattle them off, man. I'm distracted because I got baby kitties.
Good, man. It's all good, man.
I got baby kitties hanging off my neck and 2 on my arm. But it's great, man, hearing your voice again, brother, man. I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm glad your sons are doing okay. You know what I'm saying? Nami's resting. I'm gonna catch up with her a little sleepy butt later for everybody to know who Navi is. Okay, now. For the people that like Donald Trump or they support some of his policies, I'm looking at it like this, and this isn't a conversion. I'm looking at it like this. Are you looking at it for temporary, or are you looking at it from long term? Okay. If you can look at Donald Trump and say, "Oh well, we got through this far, we might can get through another 4 because I don't like the Democrats that's coming up the back." One of the main things that started this whole, not only this country, but this whole movement, and they got thrown different tags and different names to try to discourage them. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, you can only vote for, back in the you can only vote for Hillary or Trump, or else you're splitting the vote. Pardon my language, but fuck splitting the vote. Let them know who you want. Let them know what policies will better benefit you, yourself, your family, and your community, and your state, than the country. And, if it's when it comes to certain things, you got to start at the top and then work your way back down and work your way back right back up again. But the way that everybody try to preach this whole system is we the people. Now, we the people don't have a voice. And we the people are sitting back waiting for Congressman, Senate, sitting president to make a law, and then we vote? Isn't that ass backwards from everything we learned in fucking civics class? Is it just me?
90 seconds.
And me and you, Tim, we go way back. So I already see that look on your face. I'm gonna clean up the language. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I already know. People. This don't just affect you and you being able to go out there.
60 seconds.
If you're in a certain working class and supersize it, versus you being able to go to the Ritz-Carlton and just order a salad just because you're feeling cute today, and then go to yoga class, or you being able to go to Amsterdam and bring back a sack, and then fly over to Japan and get some authentic chopsticks, and then bring back an octopus. Like, look, this is bigger than you, Shawty. These little discussions we get into, this affect generations with an S. Yes, I don't care if you make fun of the way I said it. I said it like that on purpose. This affect generations. If y'all don't tighten
10 seconds.
all this little petty stuff y'all fighting over, nobody's generation is gonna fucking make it. Tighten up the politics. The things that are essential, that you know are essential, I don't care what side you're fighting on, what side of the bird you're fighting on, left or the right. Because either way, it takes a left and a right wing to make a damn bird, don't it? Hello? I mean, did I step away too long and we now we got some half woke wolf pack in this week? I thought this was the full woke wolf pack. Not the TYT wolf pack. Sit down. Not the Alex Jones wolf pack. You wish. This is Tim Black Wolfpack up in this piece, and we're going to represent to the very end. You stay woke out there. You research everything, question everything. I don't care who knocks on your door. First of all, they're knocking on your door with some neighbor to bring some cookies and some oatmeal and some fried chicken and some collard greens and some cornbread. And if they don't know how to make cornbread fresh out the skillet, you know what I'm talking about, Kim.
Yeah, you know I do.
Then they ain't real at all. Kick them in the face, and then kick them out the door. We need some old school loving back in the seat. We need some old school politics now, and old school politics for everybody, because everybody has to be represented, or else this country is never gonna fucking move forward. It's not. It's gonna be a stalemate. And wait. I forgot one thing before Tim kicks me off. ADOS. American Descendants of Slaves. Can I tackle this for like 120 seconds?
Go ahead, brother.
People. First of all, we have to tell the truth of who bought who from who. Did the Portuguese buy some Japanese and sell them to California? Did the Portuguese buy some people from what's now known as Ghana and sell them to Brazil? Did Britain buy some white folks, Irish, and sell them to the French Canadians? I mean, is anybody really going that deep with it? How many slaves? Whoa. Tim, are you listening?
Yeah, brother, what's up?
How many black people are willing to admit that we had 2,000 slave owners within our own genre. Come on, pro-blacks, step up. Who sold who to who? Who sold out? And now for the rest of the people, y'all go take a side boat right now. This is black folks talking right now. Y'all go take a side seat for a couple seconds. 10. Who sold who to who? Are we talking about the Mount Samar we used to run with the cheese butt naked and free? Got sold to the Portuguese and ended up in fucking Venezuela, Chile, and wait, that's too far south, not Chile. Venezuela, Panama, and oh shit, I can see that shit on my face. Venezuela, no, Brazil's to the right. Venezuela, Colombia.
All right now, bro.
And they still to this day get treated like crap because they darker than the rest. I mean, do you really want to go down this rabbit hole? I mean, shoot. By the time we figure out who owned who and who what, and all of those ultra.
All right now. Thank you, Mr. Kakata. I appreciate it, man.
Never
Thank
mind.
Thank you for the phone call. Thank you for the phone call. Reparations is about more than just slavery. It's about redlining. It's about apartheid in our own country. It's about government policies to disenfranchise people for multiple generations. And it's about more than just who sold who to who. It's about lineage of generations upon generations. And that we had a special brand of slavery in the United States where you were owned for life. And there was no redemption. It was chattel slavery is a different type of slavery where you can't get out of it. And your kids gonna be slaves, and their kids gonna be slaves. And so it was for 4 and 5 generations. That's not the history of the Irish. Okay, so anyway. And those who sold slaves from the African continent to Westerners had no idea what kind of slavery this was because it did not exist anywhere else. And once again, we're talking about systemic issues that go beyond slavery. Jim Crow laws, the black codes, mass incarceration and slavery, the penal codes, convict leasing. It runs the gamut. It's a lot to be educated on. I encourage anyone to check out Dr. Joy DeGroot for information about this. And I'm going to keep it moving. Mr. Okada talked just long enough to go totally not talk about anything. But we love him. Just Lord have mercy. All right, next call, if I can find out where we are. Damn it. Why, man? Why, brother? Why? All right. 917. I think 917's next. 917, you're live Freedom Friday. How you doing?
Yo, what up, Tim Black? As I always say, the man with the shaft swag and the Barry White voice. What's up, Tim? It's your boy Sam in New York City, man.
How you doing, man? Talk to me. What's on your mind tonight, my friend?
You know what I love about it is whenever I call in, I always write some stuff down. But when you have so many people who make such good points, you're like, oh yeah, I should bring that up. By the end of it, I'm like looking at 10 pages here. So let me just go through it real quick, man. So I guess to one of your first callers, Dave, who was talking about the far religious people.
Yeah.
As Chris had just said it best, is that they're not the majority. They're literally a tiny minority, but they're just very loud and they're very organized. And that's what Trump appeals to directly, is that it is the far fringed evangelical Christians. But as a vast country, no, they're not the majority. They're a small minority, but they're just very vocal. I'm going to tie in a few things here from some of your previous callers. So I think it was Uli who was talking about Rachel Maddow. Did you see that bit of Rachel Maddow where she was talking about John Bolton? Oh, I feel bad for John Bolton. oh, he has to deal with Trump. What? Everybody was like, no, just get your ass to Fox News at this point. she tried to brush it off. She said, "Oh, well, whatever you think of him, you disagree with him." Like, I don't even use this language, but I'll say it, bitch, you have lost your damn mind. You're going to talk about, maybe you don't like the fact you led us to an illegal war and 500,000 innocent people died and we bombed the country on their lies and soldiers died. It's like, she brushes all that aside because if Trump doesn't attack Venezuela, Putin puppet. Oh my God. Anyone who would call Maddow a reporter after that has lost their damn mind. But, no, just to get back on the whole Biden thing, and I promise I'll tie these three things in real quick. First off, I think Obama chose Biden, in my opinion, as a cushion for maybe certain parts of America who were like, he can come up like, yeah, I'm the black president, but look, I got like this Uncle Joe guy, so it's good. I think it was more of a cushion. I think he was well aware, and he's like, it was more of an ease into the transition process for some people. But I was going to say this point is where I tie all the three things that your previous callers brought in, which is when people are talking about Biden versus Trump, I think it's overestimated. Trump would, first off, I despise Biden in every sense of the word, but it's overestimated how much he would beat Biden by. Let's recall the last election. The Rust Belt was what gave Trump the win.
True.
Now, you could say, well, he's going to go through that again. Sure, he has the the minority evangelical Christians in his pocket because after he moved the embassy to Jerusalem, he's given Israel the Golan Heights in Syria. I mean, literally like a section of another country off. So he has that on lockdown. But here's where he's going to have problems. What did he run on when he was in the Rust Belt? He said two things that hits the Rust Belt, and I forget the guy's name who's in West Virginia who pointed this out. It's not just West Virginia. There's also, in that Rust Belt, it's common for people to, go to the coal mine or the military. And so when you have families who are so struck by the military, by these wars that they're losing their family members, Trump ran the campaign, I'm going to end these wars, I'm going to end these wars. When Trump was in certain parts of the Rust Belt, he was always talking about how bad these trade deals are. I'm going to, get rid of TPP and so on. Hillary couldn't make these arguments. Now and that's why had Bernie run, he would have destroyed him. Now, if Trump tries that, it's not going to win him that base anymore because he can't argue, I'm going to end these wars. You just announced you're keeping a base in Syria. You just tried to overthrow Venezuela, and you sent warships to Iran. So I think if it's a Biden-Trump thing, those two, the people who have military backgrounds, they're not going to want to vote for either of these guys because Biden voted for the Iraq War. When he was with Obama, he was, Obama toppled Libya on that nonsense stuff. Which, as a side segment, I don't know if you caught Max Blumenthal's interview with Lee Camp?
No, I haven't.
I would recommend it. It was on his book. It's amazing. It's called The Management of Savagery. If you get a chance, man, it's phenomenal. But the point is, because he also ties these things in, but he can't talk about these and I'm going to end these wars. You just escalated wars, so he's lost that chunk of the supporters. Biden can't make any of these arguments because we had Iraq, Libya, Syria. Biden's on record. Even was talking about how he was like, I think he was talking about how we overthrew Ukraine. He was giddy about it, like how we had some role. So they're not going to want to vote for either one. Okay, he's lost that chunk. Then you have in the Rust Belt, he can't make these arguments anymore. I'm going to keep your jobs here. These trade deals are bad. Under you, more jobs were outsourced than under Obama. So I think in that section, both are going to lose those bases because Biden supported the TPP, and he literally chastised people for like not supporting it, of like, they don't know how the economy runs and blah, blah, blah. So they're just not going to go out and vote. But will Trump win if those two don't vote? Yes, because he has the evangelicals and people who might not be directly affected as of right now or when it hits the election via these trade deals and tax cuts. So this all ties together because the media is just going to try to pass this of, this is about civility and so and so. So I hope I tied those 3 points. And I just want to run through some other things. So for me, the media is horrendous. There was, and I'm not kidding, it showed up on my phone. There was an article from Politico. It was called Beto, failing upwards. And it goes through the whole. I couldn't read. I'm not kidding. Look it up. If you can get through the whole article, next time you're in New York City, dinner's on me, man. I got halfway through it before I was like, okay, I'm done. It was something like, well, he couldn't beat Cruz, but he learned from this, and he's trying. It's like, yeah, I'm not a parent, but when I come home with a D, my mama doesn't tell me, you failing upwards. She'd beat the crap out of me. She'd give me an ass whooping. Boy, you better study harder. You don't promote somebody who's like, oh, he's learning. That's how bad the media is they're trying to push these candidates that nobody wants. When you have Tulsi, they're terrified of Tulsi because Bernie can hit them on economics. They're going to do everything they can to keep Tulsi off the debate stage, and if she's on the debate stage, they're going to keep her away from Biden because she's going to school him. She will destroy him. Hey, you could have stopped the arms sale. You could have stopped the weapons into Syria. There's literally, and I don't know how much you know on Syria. Right now, there's a section of Syria that is literally like the strongest Al-Qaeda region ever. It's every article will tell you it's run by Al-Qaeda, but how does the title start off? Last rebel stronghold, under siege. This is literally an Al-Qaeda bastion. There's no way about it. So they're going to keep Tulsi the hell away from Biden. When you have Buttigieg, he will crap his pants in front of Tulsi because I think, and you can feel free to correct me, I think with Buttigieg, his military background was like more office thing. It was more like an analyst or intelligence.
Right.
So he wasn't out in the field. So when he's talking like, oh, I'd be the first gay guy to jail Chelsea Manning. Well, Tulsi doesn't say I would be the first Hindu woman to keep her. She's just saying, oh no, I'd keep her free. What she did was right. That's the right thing to do. And if he's going to make the argument, well, she put our soldiers in jeopardy. She's like, oh yeah, how'd you know? You weren't on the field. And they didn't put any soldiers in jeopardy. And it helped bring more troops home because it wouldn't get the what was it? I forget the deal to extend it. This is where she will just humiliate him. And again, as one of your callers pointed out, she doesn't play the identity politics. Some people want her to, but she knows the minute you bring up the identity politics, you're going to lose people in the way that Hillary was doing the whole I'm with her and first female. She doesn't do any of that. She's just talking to you as a soldier. So she's going to win that chunk of supporters that will not vote for Trump, will not vote for Biden. And I can see right now is the media is already going to start attacking her, Tulsi soon because they're talking about like, oh, the last rebel area in Syria. Tulsi's the only person who's pointing out like a fact. I forget it was who the security advisor under Trump was, but he said it's the largest Al-Qaeda bastion we've seen since 9/11, even larger then. Right. And they're going to start using like, oh, you're supporting a genocide. It's not. These are not moderate rebels. These are good people, and they're going to twist that to attack her the way that when she said, let's be careful before we launch attacks. Let's have the UN investigate if there's chemical weapons, and they just started smearing her like, oh, you don't think a dictator did it, blah blah blah. So I would bring all those points in. That's why I'm more with Tulsi because if it's a Biden thing, he's not going to get supporters across the country. People are just going to stay home, and people are not going to vote Trump as much. But I just want to say one last thing. I was talking. I don't know if you know who George Galloway is in the UK.
Journalist, correct?
No, he used to be a parliament member.
Oh, okay, no.
The point is, he had a radio show, and I listened to it today, and I learned that in France, this is why I think it's important, why you should definitely check out that interview or invite Max on your show, because his book is phenomenal, and it ties into the rise of the right wing. But France's right wing is coming to power now. And they're going through what we went through 2 years ago because Macron was like the Obama of France. That's how they all cited him. Well, Obama's neoliberal policies is what got us Trump. In the same way that Macron's neoliberal policies in France are going to get the far right wing candidate. So I'm saying to this now is if the DNC, and they will, screws Bernie or Tulsi, you're looking at a guaranteed Trump victory. And this time there's not going to be a Russian boogeyman to call blame on. And we'll be screwed, hands down, because if Trump's elected again, I'm not terrified of Trump, I'm terrified of John Bolton. John Bolton wants a war with Iran. He's foaming at the mouth. God help us, if Trump wins, we're going to war. So I just wanted to finish that point off. I don't want to keep more time. Hopefully I didn't run too long. But as always, Tim, You rocking it as always, man. And if you can read that article, dude, when you're in the city, lunch is on me, man. I could not get through that political article, failing upwards. That was some bull. You can pick out the words later.
Well, look, man, thank you,
so
man.
Anyway, I'd love to hear.
Yeah. Well, thank you, brother. I'm gonna look into that Lee Camp, Max Blumenthal, and I follow Max on Twitter, man. I've just got a crowded freaking Twitter timeline, man, and I saw like a picture of it. It flashed on my YouTube, and I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'm gonna go back and watch it. So thanks for the recommendation on that. Kind of disappointed how things went with Lee Camp, man. Sometimes things work out, they don't work out, 343. 1 second, 343. 343, you're live on Freedom Friday. What's your name and what's your comment?
Hey, Tim Black, it's your cancer-free friend from Kingston, Ontario. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, brother, how are you? I'm glad you called, man. I swear I'm going to send you a shirt. What's up, Pat? How you doing?
Not too bad. And I just want to give a shout-out to the people in the Venezuelan embassy. A good shout-out and hopefully good support. I've been following it all week. Every update on Twitter, I get all these messages from the pro-Venezuelan people and telling the truth about this stupid conflict there with the puppet Guaido, and I've like those discussions with those pro-Guaido people. I'm just like, you're not the real people that really represent the true Venezuelans. But this call is more, is in more direction to the interview that Ben Shapiro was given about abortion. And I know that 2 states within the United States put the anti-abortion bills, specifically Georgia and Alabama, have been having some discussion. We get some votes and stuff like that. And it's a really big controversy because it takes away a woman's right to have an abortion, and it gives draconian laws, which were set back, you guys, since the 1920s or the 30s, where women didn't have those types of rights to have an abortion. It was in, as a woman's choice to have an abortion. Now we're having the same discussion here in Ontario because we have Doug Ford. Doug Ford is a Christian, and he has the same religious values. And there were some ignorant people who want to push anti-abortion bills here in Canada, which it just blows our mind because, as the previous caller had said, the progressive movement in Canada was stifled because of what happened in the United States too, because it gave credence to the point that it gave rise to the right, and it also gave the impression that neoliberalism is the status quo, is the accepted, type of policies. For example, like Trudeau here in Canada, status quo, supports the military-industrial complex of the United States as well because we're part of NATO, and apparently we're selling arms to weapons dealers involved in war. So it's I'm just sick and tired of the wars that you guys are going through. I'm sick and tired of my military in Canada getting involved in your quagmires because we're in Afghanistan, we're in Iraq, we're all over the place because we're NATO. We have all our military bases all over the place like you guys do. So I want those troops home. But it's just, the anti-abortion bill. Like, I don't want that to happen in Canada. I don't want that to happen, you guys, anywhere in the United States. I want Roe versus Wade. And guess what? Joe Biden is another MFer that went against the Roe versus Wade, and he's a Democrat. It's just, it blows my mind, and I do all these researches. I listen to all these people all the time, and I just, hopefully a good progressive gets to be part of the DNC, or just, as Jimmy Dore says, to form a third party like we do have in Canada. We have more than 2 parties here in Canada. So we have the NDP, we have the Greens, and the Greens actually won a good by-election. So the Greens have a second person in the federal thing. So, and we have the federal election coming up in October, where Trudeau is not doing so good in the polls, and it looks like we're going to have a conservative majority. So, buckle up, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride for us, Canadians and Americans. for the next couple years. So good luck to you guys in the States, and hopefully we'll have no conflict with Iran, or hopefully no conflict with Venezuela, because leave them the fuck alone. Anyways, have yourself a good night there, Tim. And as soon as I get that T-shirt, I will take a picture of it, and I'll tag it to you on Twitter, or I'll send you an email or something like that as soon as I get it in. Thank you very much, and have yourself a great night. And I just have one more surgery coming up, maybe later on this year, but early next year. So you take care of yourself. Have a good night, and keep on fighting the good fight, my friend. Take care.
You got it, Pat. Thank you for the phone call, man. Yes, man. And we have cleared the queue, people. That's what I'm talking about, man. That's my goal on each show. Of course, it's to give you great information. Had the phone lines open, man, but try to get to every caller, man. That's what I try to do before the phone lines go out, and it looks like we made it. 520, I got a queue, but I think this person's already spoken. Let me just verify, man. It looks like that was the last call. It was my friend Pat from Canada. Yes. And that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what it is. That's what's great. When you get to all the calls, let me give a shout out to my people on Super Chat. A-Harb, I shouted out A-Harb and A-Mayors. And Sean Graham. Thank you, Sean Graham, for joining the Wolfpack, man. Welcome to the Wolfpack. And Whack Arian. Whack. Hope I'm saying that right. Wakarian? I don't know, man. Thank you for joining the Wolfpack, Whack. Truth Can't Be Silenced. Dave, I thought you were already a member, man. You're a moderator, and you're a caller, been calling in for like 4 years, man. I thought you were a member, man. Well, thank you, Dave, for officially joining the Wolfpack, man. It's good to have you. So that's what's up, man. Thank you for always being a beacon of truth and love. Laura, yeah, I tell you, man, Laura, man. Take care of yourself, Laura. Gosh, lady, it just hurts my heart to hear you suffering like that. That's, and just stay strong, sister. Tough. You know, I often think about some of the Wolfpack, man. Like, I always hope that people are doing well, because this show has been on for years. And you know how it is, guys. Like, we get to know each other after a while. And when I don't hear from people, sometimes I wonder if they stopped watching or what happened, you know? So I wish everybody the best, man. We're all like family. We're community. Tim Black's Wolfpack, guys. So become a part of it. Believe me, you'll get to know people in our chat room and on the show and the call-ins, and you're going to be sucked in, man. We got some great people. We all mean well, right? And we got funny. Some people are funny. Some people are hard-hitting. Some people are just sweet as hell. But everybody has an opinion, and they voice it, and we try to respect each other. And so I encourage you to be a part of it. That's really all I got, guys. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Remember, I'm Real Tim Black on Facebook and on Twitter, at Real Tim Black. And we do this show every Friday at 9 p.m. Really, it's more like 10 p.m. Let's just keep it real. It's 10 p.m. You know? No matter what, it seems like I can't get to 9. It's always like around 10, so I might have to just push it till 10. And thank you for everybody who contributed to the Tim Black New Computer Fund. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the hell out of you for that. I got a lot more content coming. Guys, go to my YouTube channel. Check out my new content. It's doing pretty well. We're doing pretty well finally. It ebb and flows, you know? Like, it just... I tell you, man. I'll see you on the next one. Until then, don't let nobody take your cornbread, guys. And sprinkle some facts on them. Don't get into an argument this weekend. We know we got Mother's Day coming up on Sunday. Don't argue with Mom about her politics. Let her believe what she wants to believe. But hit her with a little bit of truth. One thing that'll hit home for her. Say that one fact. Drop it like it's hot and leave it there. Don't create enemies. Mend fences. Right? Because life's too short. I'll see you on the next one. All right? And remember, you can always email me at tim@timblacktv.com. All right? All right. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.